everybody, Pat Huntoon here with Technique Junkies, and today I want to show you some new products we just brought into the store and how exciting they are and how much fun they are to use. So here I am today to introduce you to IZINK Ice. And this is a translucent gel. So when you put this on, paper, you can see through it. So today I'm going to be showing you how to use this with a honeycomb. In future weeks, I'm going to be showing you how to use it with splash with some shimmering bliss behind it and some other ways to use this. But today I'm just going to be showing you the IZINK Ice using the honeycomb stencil. So what we're going to be doing today is using the Hexy Stencil, the honeycomb stencil from A Colorful Life Designs, and I have cut this cardstock down so that the stencil fits on it perfectly. But before we do that, I want to stamp my bee onto this cardstock because I'm going to be putting the gel around the outside. So let me stamp it and come right back to you. Tuxedo black ink in the lower corner of this piece, and I am just going to be putting the hexagon stencil over the top of the paper. So I'm using a palette knife, and I am actually just going to hold this on with my finger and put a nice glob of it on here. I'm putting it right on my piece because the stencil is still protecting underneath, and I'm just going to smooth this on using my craft knife. And what I am doing is I'm going to get the whole outer edge, and it goes on nice and smoothly, and I'm going to get the portions that don't touch or come near the bee first. It's generous daub on there. And then I'm going to take the excess. And I'm using a water brush without much water in it, not really using the water, but using it to kind of just push the gel up to where the bee is. And I'm using a thick amount of this because I want it to replicate the honeycomb that goes around the bee itself. And I'm going to take as much of this excess as I can and push it kind of back into the thing here. Be careful, you can do it. And off the brush also. So let's see if I can push that down in there. Just made a mess. See if I can put as much as possible in there. Wipe my brush off a little bit. I'm just squeezing the water out to get that off the end. Wipe off my palette knife just to get the initial stuff washed off. And then I'm going to lift up the stencil off the paper. Look at that, isn't that cute? And I'm going to set that aside. Can you see how cute that is? Can you see the translucence of that IZINK Ice? And let's just wipe this off. So what I've been doing to wipe this off is, first of all, I have some spray here, and inside of here is something called Simply Amazing that I get at the dollar store that I have watered down. The Simply Amazing has been watered down. You see how it just takes all that off? Where it's dried a little bit, I'm just pushing a little harder, but it really comes off pretty well. And I really do not like goobs on my stencils. So I am going to take the stencil. I really don't like my stencils being dirty, so while this is still pretty wet, I'm going to take and put my cloth down, hit it with the Simply Amazing. I think you could use any cleaner or stamp cleaner also. I just find this to be inexpensive and easy to find. At dollar stores. It's called Simply Amazing. And flip it over. I'm going to do the other side just to be sure I get it all off. Maybe with another paper towel. I try not to use too many paper towels if I can avoid it. Just wipe that all off. And believe it or not, that doesn't feel sticky at all. And this side feels a little sticky, so I'm just going to wipe it down one more time. I don't want this to be even a little sticky, so Look at how that all cleaned off so nicely. Now, I'm going to let it air dry because air drying is always best. No matter what you're making and what you're doing, you are always going to find it less bubbly and more natural if you let it air dry. So let's let that air dry and I'll come right back to you. Okay, so what I've done now is I've allowed this to dry all of the way, and I have sprayed this with Gold Shimmering Bliss. So you can see that it's shimmery in the background. Everything in the background is beautifully in golden shimmery. It's a very fine gold. And then to make those leaves shine a little bit, I've sprayed some spray there and put it on the wings. So my wings are going to be golden. So those, I'm really saturating this paper. So that's going to take a few minutes to dry. And again, I'm trying to keep my heat tool away from that. Yeah. The other thing I did off camera, and I didn't show you, was I took my paintbrush and put it in the IZINK Ice and dabbed it onto the 3 parts of the bumblebee so he looks more like a bumblebee. And that then I just wiped off my brush, press some water through there and wiped off my brush. So I'm going to let that dry the rest of the way and then we'll mat it and be done with this. Okay, so I have taken the SDX 125 Be True to Yourself and stamped it on a smaller piece of paper and mounted that in black. Now that everything is dry, and you can see the beautiful gold on the wings there, I'm going to mount this onto a black piece of black card base, and I am using quite a bit of adhesive on this one because when I sprayed the gold shimmer spray, it buckles the cardstock, because what happens is the fibers of the cardstock expand, and that's what happens when you don't use watercolor paper. But I am going to put this down nice and firm. It's fully dry now. Ooh, I love the way that looks. Isn't that cute? Can you see that? Let me get some contrast behind it so you can see it. It's really an adorable card. And then I'm going to take the Be True to Yourself and I'm going to pop it right up there in the middle. I don't know if I want to pop that or not. I think I'll just put it down just like that. So take the Be True to Yourself and put that right over the top like that. And that is the completed card, and that ice is just gorgeous. It's so translucent and so beautiful, and the addition of the gold just really makes it spectacular. It's really a pretty shimmery yet coolly translucent card. That is the end of our tutorial today. If you enjoyed this tutorial, consider subscribing to the Technique Junkies YouTube channel, and I will see you next time. Thank you for watching. Bye now.